Growing up, my introduction to video games was Tetris on the Game Boy and Halo 2 on the Xbox, but I don't remember much about Tetris, and that would make an interesting video. So today, we're going to go over my nostalgia with Halo 2. Halo's a franchise that needs no introduction. It's the game that put Microsoft on the map as a legitimate game company, and it's the reason why they're still making games and consoles to this day. While it may have been rushed in development and shows quite a few flaws, it's still my favorite Halo game to this day. So please, let me share you my experience playing Halo 2.
I need a weapon.
What would you have your arbiter do?
I first played this game when I was like 3, so I started my gaming career really early as a kid. The first level has you fighting the Covenant on the space station Cairo, and your first interaction with them is when they blast open the door. I remember my first time playing this, I stood directly in front of the door like a complete noob, despite Johnson clearly warning me to stand clear of the door, but oh no, 3-year-old me just doesn't know how to follow orders. Then again, what 3-year-old does follow orders? And as soon as they blast the door open, I instantly died. Honestly, to this day, I find this to be a hilarious noob trap, and whenever I play this game with someone new, I always tell them to stand directly in front of the door. I don't know, just something funny to me about them getting blasted across the room. Going through the rest of the level, I make it to where the Covenant planted the bomb and beat the crap out of everyone guarding it. Then, I lay witness to one of the coolest cutscenes I ever seen in a video game. So Master Chief just casually asks if he can leave the station to give the Covenant back their bomb, and just as he's about to open the airlock to send back to sender, Cortana asks what did he miss. To which he casually replies,
I won't.
He then flies into what looks like the opening of Revenge of the Sith, straight into the Covenant flagship and just blows up the core, while safely landing on one of his own ships. This scene alone made me fall in love with Master Chief, and he's still to this day one of my favorite video game protagonists of all time. Going into level 2, we get my favorite Sergeant Johnson line.
Dear humanity, we regret being alien masters. We regret coming to Earth.
And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleet! Hoorah!
And then crash onto the city. When you first start this level, the Covenant doesn't know you're here, so you can actually get the jump on them. I remember always trying to see if I can stealth kill all of them without them noticing me. Unfortunately, Halo is not a stealth game, and I have a bunch of trigger-happy Marines backing me up. After clearing wave after wave of Covenant forces, a pair of hunters show up and Kool-Aid man their way into the gate. Sergeant Johnson orders the Marines to stand back and let the Chief handle it. And well...
Hunters.
Stand back, Marine!
Yeah, this is your first interaction with hunters in the game. The Juggernauts of Halo, ladies and gentlemen. One of 6 times you will face them. 3 times in a single level. And it's over in less than 10 seconds. I know the turret can be destroyed by phantom ships or grenade, but I never got it destroyed unless I was trying to get it destroyed. So, moving on. This part of the level is where I started doing some fun shenanigans. My cousins taught me a neat trick, where if you do some platforming here, you get onto this bridge, and if you throw a grenade and jump when it explodes, the explosion gives you a boost creating a super jump, and you can get on top of the building and skip a small part of the level. I find it funny that this is clearly never intended, as you can see the end of the map which is just an abyss of nothingness, and even in the remastered edition, there's still a vast nothingness. I don't know if doing the skip actually saves time or is a speedrun strat, but I've always found it fun, so I always do it whenever playing this level. Moving on, we get to what's probably my least favorite section in the entire game, and that is the highway. You're supposed to get through this level on a vehicle because, you know, it's a highway. Kind of the whole point. But oftentimes as a kid, I would get my ghost destroyed and was forced to walk the rest of the level. And let me tell you, it's not fun. It's just a bland tunnel with only a few enemy jump points. Moving on from one of my least favorite parts of the game, we get onto what's probably my favorite level in the entire game. So starting off this level, Sergeant Johnson shares with us another great line.
When I joined the Corps, we didn't have any fancy schmancy tanks. We had sticks, 2 sticks and a rock for a whole platoon, and we had to share the rock.
Did I mention already how much I love Johnson? And then drops us off a tank. Oh yeah, baby. We're starting off this level with a bang as we blast through hordes of Covenant forces on the bridge and make our way towards the Scrab. But this level is where I discovered one of my favorite things to do in Halo 2. My favorite Halo vehicle has always been the Ghost. Not just because it's fast, but also because it's small, meaning it can fit through a lot of doors and cracks, getting to places where it's clearly not supposed to be. I even managed to get a Ghost from the very beginning of this level all the way to the top of the Scrab. Yes, I parked a Covenant Ghost on top of the Scrab. You're clearly not supposed to do this because once I landed the Ghost, I couldn't drive it anywhere without falling off. It would always shake, so I would just leave it parked on top of the Scrab, asserting my dominance on the Covenant. After taking down the Scarab with an illegally parked Ghost, the Covenant try to flee Earth and we follow after them. The next level starts with us actually playing as the Covenant. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, for those who haven't played this game before, it starts off with the cutscene of the 3 prophets of the Covenant punishing this elite for failing to protect Halo. We actually blew up Halo in the first game, but little kid old me hasn't played Combat Evolved at that point, so I just glossed over it. Anyhow, the prophets decide to give him a second chance and make him the Arbiter, which is like some kind of special privilege, but you're still destined to die anyway. I don't know, I'm pretty sure the developers just want an excuse to have you play as the Covenant while wearing some sweet drip. Anyhow, in this level, we return to the first Halo to kill the heretics who turned their back on the Covenant and their religion. Like, wow, they decided to become atheists and now the Covenant sends the equivalent of the Catholic Pope to murder them all? Anyhow, I really like playing as the Arbiter because you have the ability to go invisible, just like the enemy, Elite. The only problem is the prophets forgot to update my armor, so I can only stay cloaked for a short period of time and needed to wait for it to recharge after each use. This level had 2 of my favorite guns in the game, the Needler and the Carbine. Dual wielding Needler is probably the most broken thing in this game, and it's probably the reason why dual wielding was never brought back after Halo 3. The bullets track and will explode once enough needles have stuck onto the enemy, and the Carbine was a gun I just simply enjoyed and love the sound of. I mean, just listen to it. Anyhow, going through the rest of this level, near the end you fly a Banshee to try to find the heretic leader by searching different checkpoints around the station. The funny thing is that you can just go straight to the checkpoints ad and skip having to look through each one. I found this out really early as a kid and just did it every time. Didn't feel like playing through the level, I guess. After finding out where the heretic leader was hiding, we get our first confrontation with the Flood. The Flood are basically space parasites that can take over a host's dead body. I was never really scared of them as a kid because the Flood spiders look like KFC's popcorn chicken. KFC, if you're watching this, please bring back chicken popcorn, it's the best. Something I always liked doing in this game was abusing allies. Now let me explain. If you kill enough allies on your team, they'll eventually turn on you and start trying to kill you. So because of this, I would normally never try to kill my own allies. However, certain NPCs such as Johnson and Vader here are immortal. Meaning I can just keep abusing them all I want and they won't do anything about it. I think the reason why I like doing this so much specific to Vader was I just like the way he screams. It was always funny to me. It's still funny to me to this day. Anyhow, after fighting through the Flood, we finally catch up to the heretic leader, who saw we were getting a little too close to the infected and decided to social distance himself and lock himself in his room. In order to force him out, we have to cut the power to the station. Now this is where I discovered a really fun glitch. You see, when you cut the power to the station goes into free fall, but if you jump at the right moment as the station begins to fall, you actually glitch through the ceiling and get stuck on the floor that used to be there as the station goes into free fall. This does kill you, but also has a really cool and funny glitch, and this is always something I use to prank my friends. Anyhow, after forcing the heretic out of his room, I finally catch up to him where he shows me how he's possibly the stupidest character in video game history. Now, get this, the reason the heretic turned his back on the Covenant was because he found Guilty Spark 343. He tells the heretic the truth about Halo and that his whole religion is a lie. He calls up Guilty Spark and asks him to tell Arbiter the truth about Halo. After Guilty Spark says they would be glad to explain, he starts shooting Arbiter. Like, what are you doing? You had a chance to gain an ally who can spread the truth, and after asking someone to tell us the player, how they're leading you basically to your death, potentially getting a very powerful ally in the Covenant, and you just decide to, nah, screw that, we're just gonna kill him. Like, are you kidding me? Anyhow, Heretic is the first boss in the game, and besides the fact that he's a complete moron, he's actually the hardest boss in the game. Not that he's that hard, but when you're one of only 3 bosses in this game, and one of those 3 bosses is the Prophet of Regret, it's not exactly a competition. Anyhow, after killing him, Tartarus picks me up and goes to Spark, and then we go home. A successful mission. We just killed the traitors of the church who left because they found out our religion was a lie. A happy ending for everyone. So after 2 levels of playing as the Arbiter, we finally return to Master Chief, who followed the Covenant to Halo 2. Enter title card. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 6 out of 13 levels in, and we're barely getting to Halo 2. Not that little me knew this was the second Halo, playing this as a kid, but hey, I know now. Anyhow, we quickly land in Halo 2, which this would be a good spot as any to talk about my favorite part about Halo, the world itself, or more specifically, the Halo rings. As a kid, I always loved this environment, from the lush green fields to the beautiful blue lake. It always amazed me, just something very fantastical about it, you know? I always love the fact that when you look up, you can see the action ring itself, and also I just love all the different environments you go to, from the temples, to the snow tundras, to this foresty mountain, just so many different environments on this ring. So we make our way into the temple, where we overhear the Prophet of Regret's plans, and decide that we make sure that he regrets messing with us. Please don't leave this my first video. After fighting off some hunters, we get into the gondola ride. Now this is my favorite part of the level. I always love this part. Riding the gondola over this beautiful blue lake, getting boarded by enemies, and boarding their gondola made me feel like a real pirate with a space gun. After getting to the first temple, we take an underwater elevator. Once again, Halo shows me how beautiful its environments can be, and in the remaster it looks even more gorgeous. In the original graphics you can barely see a thing, but the remaster makes it all clear seeing these ancient underwater ruins. Anyhow, we eventually get to the temple where the Prophet of Regret is hiding, and well... You can really tell where they rushed this game now, can you? So after killing the Prophet of Regret, the Covenant decides to do the smart thing, and instead of sending more soldiers to the slaughter, they decide to blow up the temple, with me on it. And that's the end of Halo 2. Master Chief dies. Good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. So anyway, after all of that, we return to Arbiter and Pals, where we see that there are going to be some changes in the workplace. The Prophets give us our next mission, securing the Index. The Index is basically the key to activate Halo, which, if you don't know at this point, is a galaxy-level doomsday device. But of course, Arbiter doesn't know that. Man, I wish someone would have told him that little tidbit. Now this is my least favorite level in the entire game. It just feels really similar to the last Arbiter level, except not as good. Very bland, just fight through more flood. There's these cool robots you fight, but besides that, it's just same old. Fighting through wave and wave after flood, until we finally get to the library, where the Index lies. Unfortunately for us, Keyes and Johnson are also here, and now it's a race. In this part of the level, we ride another gondola. Now, despite how rough these last 2 levels are, I won't deny that I enjoy these gondola sections and defending yourself from the hordes of floods coming on board. Johnson and Keyes beam me to the Index, but I quickly just take care of them. Unfortunately, Tartar Sauce? Unfortunately, Tartar Sauce shows up and decides to steal my credit, and gravity hammers me into the abyss. After falling through the abyss, we finally reunite with Master Chief, and there we meet Gravemind, the Flood Hive Mind. And let me just say, oh my god, he looks way better in the remaster. I don't know why, but to me, as a kid, he always looked like the Master Chief helmet come to life. I don't know, it's just me? Anyone else thought that? Anyhow, after explaining to Arbiter and Chief that Halo is a doomsday device, something we should have already known, why is the Heretic so stupid? He teleports Master Chief to High Charity, the Covenant capital city, as well as the Arbiter near the temple on Halo 2, where the ring shall be activated. And it's here in High Charity, where we first play as Chief, we get introduced to a new enemy, the Brutes. And let me tell you, oh my god, they're annoying. They don't have energy shields like Elite, but they make up for it with really high health. And also, when there's only one alive, they start running around like an angry gorilla, slapping and hitting anything in their way. They're annoying, but I do like their weaponry, specifically the Brute Shot. After making our way through the city, we find out there are submarines in prison, and I have to free them. But why? They have nowhere to escape, and even if you keep them alive, they stop following you at some point. Like, seriously? Heck, in the next chief level, High Charity gets overtaken by the flood, so I'm pretty sure those Marines are dead either way. I do like this elevator though. At the end of the level, you have to clear a room full of enemies where the brutes and elites are having a civil war, and the game begins playing, get this, Breaking Benjamin. Yeah, Breaking Benjamin actually did a song for this game. I can't play it here for obvious reasons, but it is my favorite song from them, and let me just say it blows me away. I promise that's the last part of the video. The level ends with the flood killing Mercy, and we return to Arbiter on Halo 2. Now this is a beautiful level that I was never able to appreciate as a kid. Not that the level itself is anything special, mostly same old same old. However, there's a different tone to this level. It starts off with Arbiter looking down the ground, picking up a bloody plasma rifle. As you head along the path, you find the dead bodies of your fallen comrades. It all ends with Arbiter reunited with Vader, telling him how his elite brothers have been murdered by the brutes. A nice little callback to the first Arbiter level, where he claims he cares more about the lives of his elite brothers than his own. Keith David does a phenomenal job as his character, really selling the fact that he's a lost soul simply looking for redemption. Meanwhile, Chief now needs to escape High Charity, now it's become flooded. Okay, so stop, I swear that's the last one. I always hated this level as a kid. It was too dark to see anything, even with the flashlight, and the flood would eat my ammo. I understand the horror atmosphere that they were trying to go for, but that doesn't matter if you can't see anything. How am I supposed to be scared of what I can't see? Now, I did later find out you can destroy flood bodies with the brute shot melee, similar to an energy sword. However, one problem. There are no brute shots in this level. So if I wanted a brute shot, I would have to carry over from the last chief level. We escape High Charity by hitching a ride with the Covenant, and after that, we return to Arbiter for one final level, the Great Journey. Oh yeah, it's time for the climax. Which turned out to be anticlimactic, but we'll get to that. The thing I love about this level is how you and the elites take a stand against the brutes. Especially this part of the level where you release your comrades from prison to take down this huge squad of brutes. We make our way up to a building where we meet up with Johnson, who's now piloting the Scarab. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Johnson is somehow solo piloting the alien super tank from the 3rd level. Like, I have no idea. Johnson has to be some kind of super soldier, because not only did he somehow survive Halo 1, which he never disclosed outside of the books, but he somehow turned on the barrier so I couldn't get inside. And yeah, we quickly make our way to the control room where Johnson blasts open the door. Now, remember earlier in the video where I said I like to get vehicles into places they weren't supposed to be? Well, I always try to get a Banshee into the final boss room, but at last, this was to be impossible. Until recently, I was actually replaying this game with a friend, and he was determined to get a Banshee into here. And guess what? He figured it out. And we managed to get that Banshee into the final boss room. We actually tried killing the final boss with it, but it wasn't working out, so we just took the dub of actually getting the Banshee into the boss room. We have one last cutscene of Arbiter finally coming to terms that the prophets have lied to him. Now this is a great scene. Here that he finally realizes he's been lied to this entire time and that there was no redemption for him. At least not for the prophets. There's a reason why Arbiter is such a beloved character, and it's still one of my favorite video game characters to this day. Heck, he's even had a guest appearance in Killer Instinct. Once again, Keith David Killen as his character delivering this line.
Tartarus, the prophets have betrayed us.
However, Tartarus not listening to any of that, decides to activate the ring anyway, and now it's time for the final boss fight, who is none other than Tartarus, who wields the almighty Gravity Hammer. Yes, the Gravity Hammer from Halo 3 first debuted in Halo 2, and much like the Energy Sword in Halo 1, wasn't playable in that game. We take down Tartarus, Keith stops the countdown, and the day is saved. The game ends on a cliffhanger where the final battle is to take place on the Ark, found on Earth. Now, that battle on Earth was originally supposed to be the ending for Halo 2. However, the game was rushed and the developers were never able to finish that, so they saved those scrapped ideas for Halo 3. Which made me all the more excited to play that game, but I did not get to fully play the game until years later. And that was my experience playing Halo 2. What can I say? It's a game of highs and lows, but I think those highs are some of the highest in the entire franchise. And the lows are either very nitpicky, or get fixed in Halo 3. I had a blast replaying this game for this video, and I would have gladly played again, especially with friends, and I hope that Halo will one day return to its former glory. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe, as I got more content coming along the way. Have a good day, everyone. Peace!